This is the Bull Session, a weekly recap of your 2025 Philadelphia Phillies. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's, tonight's show is brought to you by Team Toyota, BCWSA, Fogo de Show, Penn Community Bank, Chickies and Pete's, and the Capitol Grill Center City. Now, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and Mickey Morandini.
Up with Bull and Gene.
Okay.
And then Dickie and Milt also came up.
Okay.
They drove up. So
Debbie Nacito is an alumni person.
Yeah,
was up there.
And we had a house there that I guess they rent out, and I guess the Phillies or MLB took care of that. And it's amazing how small that town is, but during those 3 days, it looks like Times Square in New York. I mean,
now, how often have you been up there? I mean,
I've been up there a few times. As a player, I went up there. I had to go up there once. As a manager and coach, I went up there. It's really good.
Were you up there when Schmitty and Whitey?
No, because I was still working.
Right.
I was still working. But if I was going to go up there and see it, I would tell a lot of these people that want to see it, don't go during Hall of Fame because it is packed. It's hard to get into everywhere. But it's something that if you've never seen it, I tell you what, if you're a big-time baseball fan, that's something to go.
Did you see Mickey's stuff from the unassisted triple play?
I didn't go in the thing because it was so long, but I know his triple plays in there. I know that.
They rotate stuff in there. So,
so it might
they put it out, and then they put something
I'm
else
sure
out,
that's
so
in
it
there.
rotates.
I'm sure it's in there.
So what is there of your triple play? Is it your glove?
Jersey, base, and
glove?
They don't have I didn't give up my glove.
Okay.
I was still using it.
Yeah, right.
Jersey, base, and I don't know what else, to be honest with you.
Okay. And Larry, do you have anything in the Hall of Fame?
I think I got some stuff. I don't know what it is. You know, a couple games I did pretty good. Like Mickey said.
Just a couple games?
Yeah, they change stuff all the time. But I'm sure that, big things, like if you get 2,000 hits, I'm sure that's in there. Like, and Schmitty's on the home run stuff, and Bull's stuff's in there. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Now, probably all-star stuff, I would think
yeah.
in there.
And tell us about the weekend, because obviously Dick Allen got inducted, CeCe Sabathia, Billy Wagner, Ichiro, right? Dave Parker. So there was a lot of guys you played against, right? Guys you managed against,
right?
Guys you managed, right?
And then they introduce all the Hall of Famers that are there, and it's unbelievable how many guys I played against or coached with. But you get there, and the first night there's like a dinner that the Phillies put on. John Middleton does an unbelievable job.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these guys that when you see them complain about little things that happen, maybe they ought to count their blessings because John might be as good an owner as anybody in baseball. And
I always hear that when players come up through the Phillies system and then they get traded away. I remember when Jeff Geary, Geary?
Yeah.
Gets traded, I guess, to Houston. And he came up through the Phillies system, and he said, man, for the first time I realized how good I had it with the Phillies. You just take it for granted if you come up through the system, but then you go to another team, and then maybe you got to buy an extra jersey, or they're not allowing your wife to go on the flights, or little things that add up.
Right, and I really believe that if there's a better owner than John in baseball, I haven't met him or seen him because this guy does everything, and he was there front and center.
So you said the Phillies had their own party, like you guys had a tent, or like
we had a big tent, and anybody that played with the Phillies or knew somebody that was there, they could come. Like Jim Cott came and visited us, and he was there with the Minnesota, obviously. Reggie was there. He came and saw the Phillies. So we had some people come in there just to see who was there, to see Schmitty and me and Bull, and it was really good. I mean, it really was. And the guy that I think was very instrumental in getting Dick into the Hall of Fame,
Froggy.
Froggy was
Oh,
there.
yeah. Oh, Froggy was there?
Yeah,
Froggy
Froggy's a
was
big
there.
part of it. He was his
I
big
think,
campaign
you know,
guy.
he kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and I got to see Ron Allen, who was my first baseman in Spartanburg, my very first year, Dick's brother. So I haven't seen him in a while, so
Okay.
it was good there. But he had his whole family there and relatives. Ichiro had a big group of people from Seattle. CC, obviously, with the Yankees. Billy Wagner.
Yep.
Billy had a nice speech, so it was good. It really was good.
Yeah, now, going back to Dick, I mean, obviously you played with Dick Allen. I mean, talk about, I mean, he should have, I think we all know he should have gotten in much earlier. He came in with the Veterans Committee. But talk about what Dick Allen was like as a teammate, as a person, for those that don't know Dick.
For us, he was great. You know, I don't know, in 64, everyone talks about what he did in 64. He had a fight with somebody, and he caused some problems and all that. With us, it wasn't even close to that. He was a super person. He helped Bull and Schmitty a lot because both power hitters, just like Dick, told him what pitches to look for, what the guy's trying to do. He was very positive with whoever he talked to. He was, like I said, I don't know what happened in 64.
Did you ever see anybody that used a heavier bat
No.
than Dick
No,
Allen?
and held it on the end.
Right, like would Bull, what was Bull's bat?
Not any close to 40. This bat was 41 ounces.
Right.
Dick's. I
Mick,
think Bull might have
could you
swung-
handle a 41 ounce?
My biggest bout, and you probably know this, the U1 they
Yeah,
had
the
to use
U1.
was a 35-34,
Right.
so I wasn't swinging a 41.
What I
it would
did
have
one
swung
time.
me.
What I did one time, you know, you know how you were on deck, you were waiting for the lead bat, you know, to swing,
Right.
and it wasn't there. And Dick saw me, and he threw this bat out. He said, "Swing this."
And it was his
It was
regular
his bat, and I
Did you
went,
lift it?
"It feels like a lead bat."
Right.
But no, he was great, and I agree with you. He should have been in. Dave Parker should have been in
Yeah.
long before.
So on that note, let me ask you, because the Hall of Fame voting for me is kind of a joke. Like I heard, from what I understand, Ichiro kind of gave a dig to the one rider that
Yeah, he
didn't
did.
get him in.
Yeah.
Do you like the way it is? And if not, like, how do we fix that? Because someone that has to wait 10 years and then they get in, I think is ridiculous.
I agree with that. But, you know, originally it was if you were 5 or 6 years in your prime and you were one of the elite players at that time, they would consider you going in the Hall of Fame. Now, with the analytics and everything, it is so different right now. And to give that vote to some writers, and from what I understand, that if a guy like Dick Allen, who didn't always kiss up to the writers, they held that against him,
Right.
which has nothing to do
Yeah.
with what he did on the field. That's the part I don't understand. If a guy doesn't grant you an interview during it, you might have had a bad game. You made a couple errors, struck out 4 times. He wanted to talk. You said, "I don't have time. I don't want to talk right now." So this guy keeps it in his head that, "Oh, I'm not voting for Dick Allen," or
It becomes personal.
yeah, it's a personal thing. Instead of just looking
Right.
at the body of work, what he did. They showed some stuff up there. For 5 years, he was in the company of Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, all those great players. He was right there with them. And to be put on hold for this long, I thought was a shame.
And you could say the same thing about Dave Parker. I mean, Dave
Exact-
Parker,
Dave Parker,
had power. He hit for average. He was a stud. You know, had one of the best arms in the game.
Unbelievable.
Right? I mean,
And his son, Braze, gave the speech. It was a great speech. He looks just like Dave. And at the end of the speech, if you can probably pull it up. Dave wrote a poem. It was from his dad, and it sounded so much like Dave. And everyone was cracking up when the leaves turned brown. And he got on him about waiting for so long. I knew I was going to be here. You got to pull up the poem.
Yeah,
But it was tremendous, and Dave's son did a tremendous job in presenting it. I think it's really hard when you're trying to make a speech and the person that you're speaking about is already deceased.
Right.
But those two guys, Willa and Dave's son, I thought they did a great job.
now, we had Dave Raymond on the show about a month ago, and he was talking about Dave Parker, and he said, you know, Dave had, obviously the Pirates were a huge rival back then, and Dave had the tough guy persona, right?
Right.
And he said, but he loved the Fanatic, and he wanted to mess with the Fanatic. He said, Fanatic, look, we got to mess with each other. Now I can't let the fans know that I'm joking around, right? I'm going to look serious, but I'm not serious, but let's have some fun. And Dave Raymond had to play it off, like that Dave Parker was like, the bad guy and,
right.
Like the wrestling type. It's like a wrestling type thing. But yeah, I just say, sometimes is there somebody in the game now that we just had the Hall of Fame, somebody that you think should be in there? Like, who else have we missed? Like Dale Murphy, for instance. Should Dale Murphy be in there? Should Don Mattingly be in there?
Yes, both of them.
Some other guys.
How about Bobby Abreu? Go look
Bobby
at his.
Abreu,
Go look at Bobby's numbers.
I got one back when you played, Al Oliver.
Oh, Al Oliver for sure.
2,800 hits.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, this guy was unbelievable, Al Oliver.
Now, why wouldn't he be? There's not even word about Al Oliver.
I have no idea.
And he was a really good guy too, right?
Great guy.
People loved him.
A great guy. A great guy.
And I love the stories, too. If you look at Billy Wagner, we know the story. He was 9 years old, played football. He broke his arm. And, he wanted to he had determination to stay playing baseball.
He broke his right arm.
Right arm. And so he was right-handed.
Right.
And he said, you know what, I'm going to learn how to throw left-handed.
Unbelievable.
So then he throws left-handed. Not only that, but he ends up becoming one of the hardest-throwing left-handers in the history of the game. When he's really right-handed, kind of similar to Milt Thompson.
Right.
I know you went up with Milt.
Base,
that
right.
Milt didn't want to play second base because, or he wanted to play second base because of Jackie Robinson, but he couldn't because he's left-handed. So he learns how to play at whatever age he is, 8 years old, to switch right-handed, which is just
it's unbelievable. And the thing about Dick, in my opinion, is they misconstrued this guy because he was, when he came with us the second time, he was a team guy, man.
Right.
I'm telling you, this guy did everything to help everybody out. He played hard. And we had to, when I say we, I know Mike Schmidt and Gary Maddox literally drove out to his horse farm because he was done. He said, I'm done playing baseball. And they talked him into coming back. And in that speech, Willa said that in 76, Dick told her that was the best team that he'd ever been part of.
wow.
And that was impressive that he said that. But I think there's a lot of guys, Braze and Mick, that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. It's a very difficult place to get in. It's probably the hardest of all the sports.
Yep.
But they're overlooking a lot of guys, and especially now with the analytic stuff, the launch angle, the exit velocity, that all comes into play. I mean, you hear these guys say batting average means nothing, RBIs mean nothing, wins for pitchers mean nothing. What means something? I don't understand it.
Right.
I mean, to have a good team, you need RBIs. You need pitchers win 15 to 20 games. You need a guy to hit 330. That, to me, that's how you win baseball games. But when they bring this stuff up about, it's luck, when a guy gets blue pits, that's luck. We just look at exit velocity and launch angle. I did this yesterday on the Baseball Insider show, but I'll do it here again. Ichiro, just to show you, just with some numbers, which is pretty crazy, right? So he tallied 4,367 hits in his career. Okay, so he had 3,089 hits in Major League Baseball, 1,278 hits in Nippon, Japanese League. Right.
He set the single season record for most hits, 262 in a season, breaking George Sisler's 84-year-old record, 257. 262 hits.
That's a lot of hits.
That's pretty good year.
That's a lot of hits.
It's a lot of hits for 3 years for some guys.
Yeah, he singled in the first at bat of his third career Major League game, right, lifting his average to 300, 3 for 10. His average remained over 300 for the rest of his 19-year career.
That's
Never
amazing.
dipped below 300. He would have to go hitless in 444 consecutive at-bats for his career batting average to dip below 300, right?
That's incredible.
His career 311 batting average leads all Major League players who accrued at least 5,000 plate appearances and debuted since 2000. He actually hit better against left-handed pitchers. I don't know if you knew that. He batted 329 than right-handed pitchers, 304. That batting average versus lefties is the highest on record for a lefty batter, going back to 1974. He never struck out 4 times in a game in 2,653 career Major League games. He struck out 3 times in a game on just 22 occasions. That's less than 1% of his games. He didn't record his first Major League Baseball hit until he was 27 years old. Obviously, he played in the Japanese League. That's the oldest for a first hit among 3,000 hit club members, passing Wade Boggs, who got his first one at 23. So
those are unbelievable stats.
I mean, and that's all hitting. he was also a great
Unbelievable.
outfielder.
He had a great arm.
Had one of the best arms.
Oh, unbelievable arm.
Right, he threw out a first pitch, and I think it was like 85 miles an hour.
And he could steal bases. He did everything. He was a five-tool player.
And a good guy, too.
A great guy.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times there's guys, the five-tool players, they leave 4 tools in the shed.
Right.
He brought all 5 of his. He brought all 5 of his tools
he
out
did.
every night.
All right. Coming up in the show, we're going to go into Larry's career with our guest, Larry Bowa. You're listening to the Bull Session presented by BCWSA. We're live from Chickens and Pete's in the Parks Casino in Bensalem, PA.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Come and enjoy one of your seasonal favorites from our new Summer of Shellfish menu, including our flavorful garlic and herb, roasted shrimp and lobster, tasty crabby tuna poke tacos, or our incredible seafood boil featuring crab legs, scrumptious shrimp, clams, mussels, and more. And try one of our delicious seasonal cocktails with your meal. There's Summer of Shellfish only at Chickies and Pete's.
Think banking hasn't changed? Think again. At Penn Community Bank, we've been helping communities thrive for 150 years. From our nationally recognized Access Checking that offers the peace of mind of no overdrafts, to student and free checking plus options with perks that will make you wonder what you did without them. Like early direct deposit, overdraft grace, and Zelle. Learn more at PennCommunityBank.com/products. Penn Community Bank. Here we grow. Account and feature terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. Ask for full details. Member FDIC.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Come and enjoy one of your seasonal favorites from our new Summer of Shellfish menu, including our flavorful garlic and herb, roasted shrimp and lobster, tasty crabby tuna poke tacos, or our incredible seafood boil featuring crab legs, scrumptious shrimp, clams, mussels, and more. And try one of our delicious seasonal cocktails with your meal. There's Summer of Shellfish only at Chickies and Pete's.
Think banking hasn't changed? Think again. At Penn Community Bank, we've been helping communities thrive for 150 years. From our nationally recognized Access Checking that offers the peace of mind of no overdrafts, to student and free checking plus options with perks that will make you wonder what you did without them. Like early direct deposit, overdraft grace, and Zelle. Learn more at PennCommunityBank.com/products. Penn Community Bank. Here we grow. Account and feature terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. Ask for full details. Member FDIC.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Bull Session. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and Mickey Morandini.
All right, we are back to the Bull Session presented by BCWSA live from Chickens and Pete's at the Parks Casino in Bensalem, PA. I'm John Brazer, joined by my co-host Mickey Morandini and our guest Larry Bowa. And, Larry,
Yes.
I know we've had you on every year, and I've had you on different radio shows, been on a podcast, but for those that don't know the story, I got to go back. You grew up in Sacramento.
Right.
And I forget, did you know Vuk? Because he also grew up in Sacramento.
Vuk
So
and I
you knew
played
him
against each other in American Legion ball.
in American Legion. Okay, so you
Right.
were probably like 15 years old when you first met John.
right.
Okay, so you grew up in Sacramento. And I just think it's the craziest story, similar to what people always talk about Michael Jordan getting cut from his high school team, that you never played high school baseball.
No, I got cut every year. I played on a JV team one year, but I never made the varsity.
But you continued to play like Babe Ruth
I played Babe Ruth. I played Summer League,
Yep.
which had nothing to do with the high school. And the excuse he gave me, he never did say you're not good. He said you're too small. And the fact my dad played, he wasn't real big, and he said just Don't let one guy tell you can't do this.
Right.
And there happened to be a summer league after my senior year, and I was doing pretty good in the summer league, and the junior college coach was scouting to try to get players to come to the junior college, and he came up to me and he says, I want you to come out. And I looked at him. I said, I didn't even make high school. How am I going to make your team? He says, I'll give you every opportunity to play. So I went out there, and I played 2 years. I made all-conference both years. And then Eddie Bachman, who was the scout for the Phillies, saw me play and sent some stuff into Paul Owens, and the rest basically.
Well, hold on. So I think
I didn't get drafted either. So even though I did all right in junior college, I never got drafted. So.
But I thought Eddie Bachman came out to watch
He
your
did.
game.
Oh, you want to hear that story?
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause I
So
love that story.
Eddie says, I got this kid in Sacramento. He said he can run, he can throw, he can catch the ball. I said, I don't know if he's going to hit. He says, but he can be an organization guy. In other words, he can, play as high at AA or AAA, keep him in the organization as a coach, whatever you want to do, or manage in the minor leagues. And he said, it's not going to take anything to sign him. And so Paul Owens says, well, why don't you take some video of him, send it back to me, and we'll talk about it. So we had a doubleheader at the junior college. It was a practice doubleheader, exhibition doubleheader. And the first game of the doubleheader, I think I got thrown out in the third inning. And the second game, I got thrown out in the second. And so Pope calls Eddie Bachman. He says, how'd the kid do? And he goes, I don't know. And he says, I thought you said you watched him. He says, I did. He said, but he didn't get past the fourth inning in either game.
I bet you the Pope loved that, though, right?
Pope probably went,
we got to sign this kid.
He did. He sent some video of him. They put this it was during the winter meeting, they put the sheet on the wall, and they ran the video, and he said, man, he looks quick. He got a good arm. And he said, and he also said, I don't know if he's going to hit. And I said, well, and they signed me. They signed me for $2,000.
Right. I love that.
Were you always a shortstop from when you were little?
Yeah, the whole time. Yeah. Yep.
All right, so then the other story, which I absolutely love, is
my first game.
Your first game. Tell that one.
Well, I broke camp in Florida, and I thought I was going to be a utility guy. And Bob Wellman was the manager. He says, "You're the starting shortstop." And I went, "Wow!" I'd never been out of California. I'm going to Florida. Now I'm going to Spartanburg. And in fact, Ronnie Allen, Dick's brother, was the first baseman on that team. And to make a long story short, my first game, and I wasn't switch hitting then. I struck out 4 straight times. So I'm sitting in my locker, and Bob Wellman comes over and he says, are you all right? And I said, yeah. I said, but if professional baseball is like this, I might as well get on that airplane and go back to Sacramento. And he goes, this guy's going to be special. And I'm thinking to myself, the managers just pat me on the back, trying to build confidence. And I said, okay. I'm saying to myself, yeah, really. And it happened to be Nolan Ryan. So,
right, yeah.
So the lights were like these lights, too, in Spartanburg. So not only did he threw hard.
You can't see,
I can't see nothing. He's wild. He's all over the place. He's got an unbelievable curveball. Looked like he was throwing 200 miles an hour.
Right.
And it took me a whole long time in my career. I finally got even with him in the playoffs against Houston.
Yes,
I led that inning off, and we ended up tying the game and winning it to go to the World Series.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Mick, do you remember playing against any, like when you were minor leagues, do you remember playing against any future, like facing it as a pitcher, a future Hall of Famer? Does anybody come to mind?
No, not really, actually. I played against a lot of really good Yankees players, though, like Tino Martinez, Jim Abbott, Bernie Williams, Jim Leyritz, those types of guys. I played against them a lot because in Reading, you played the Yankees a lot, and those guys were really good.
By the way, my wife saw the documentary on Jim Abbott. Said it's absolutely incredible.
I got to see that.
Yeah, I got to see it too.
I bet it was pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's Southpaw, right?
I think so.
Left or something. All right, so Larry, so then. How long did you spend in the minor leagues?
3 years. I went A, AA, AAA.
Okay.
And then in AAA, Bob Skinner was the manager, and I went to the big league camp. And he called me. This is a true story, and this is how stupid I was. He called me in, and he says, you made the team as a utility player. He says, but I'm going to give you an option. You can go down and learn how to switch hit, and if you're successful, you got a chance of playing every day in the big leagues. And I said, I don't want to be a utility player. I said, I think I can play every day. So I went down to AAA. I had to learn how to switch it. I think I hit 280 in AAA.
And you had never done that
before?
Never.
I never picked up anything left-handed. And a lot of it was laying down bunts, beating out infield hits, but whatever it was. And after that year, then I made the big league team, and my first year was at the last year at Connie Mack Stadium.
Is that rare? I mean, because you think when you see switch hitters, it's probably guys that just
Started when they were young.
Right, started when they're young and had a natural inclination to be able to do it. But when someone in your situation where you're fairly old and they're telling you, not old, but you know what I mean, like established, and then now you got to learn
to do it all.
Right.
It's like eating dinner, and all of a sudden somebody puts something in your left hand and say eat.
Right.
And I'm saying, oh man, this. And as I was going through it, I didn't start off really good. And I'm saying, what a dope, man! I could have had a year in the big leagues being a utility player. And anyway, it turned out good. It turned out really good.
Did you get to the point where towards your prime that you felt as comfortable left-handed
as
I did.
right-handed? Yeah, after about 4 or 5 years.
Like, were you better left-handed?
I thought I was a better hitter, but a little bit stronger right-handed.
Okay.
Because you face so many right-handed pitchers.
Right.
But and my first game was against Fergie Jenkins in the big leagues. I went 0 for 4. I got my first hit the next day against Kenny Holtzman. I got 2 hits that game. So, but
and you guys all started similar to that 2008 team, where you saw the beginnings of that World Series run. Because Chase and Ryan and Cole,
we had the same
and
thing.
Jimmy, and you guys same thing with Bull
Booney,
and Schmitty, and you and Booney, and right, and then you add some pieces here along the way. You add up obviously the Pete Rose was a big one.
Yep.
And others. So
and I really believe, and I know we're doing it different now because if you take a look at our team right now, the big league team, there's really not a lot of guys that have come up through the system. We got a lot of free agents that are good, but not a lot of guys in the system. And I really believe Paul Owens said a long time ago when he was a pretty good general manager. He says, you need to have a core group of guys that you can build around. And up until after the 2008 team, we have not had that.
Right.
We've had some guys, but majority of it is free agency.
Yeah, and I feel like we've drafted. It seems like, and again, it's too
Lately.
early. But when you look at our last 5 drafts, it seems like that these guys
they've done.
We haven't had the. No offense to anybody, the Jeff Jacksons and the ones that haven't hit. I mean, even look, Mickey Moniak. He's 27 years old, but I think he's got like 18 home runs right now.
Colorado. Mickey Moniak would
Colorado,
he would be. I don't care where it is.
Right.
But he would be second on our team in home runs.
Right.
And he'd be playing center field every day.
Yeah, he would.
So maybe we should go out and get Mickey Moniak. Right?
Well, and O'Hoppy's doing fairly well too. O'Hoppy's
yeah,
O'Hoppy's
and we knew he was going to be.
And we knew
good.
when we got JT that we had to give up something, to get O'Hoppy into a different position.
Larry, it's funny. Like, I've known you for 32 years, and I was going through, and I forgot that your last year was 1985. And Mick, I was going through. Larry played for the Mets, and I was going through that roster, and that's obviously they won in '86. So that roster was Doc Gooden,
they had a good
and
team.
Strawberry, and you had Dykstra and Howard Johnson and Gary Carter and. Right?
That's another stupid move I made because when I went over there, I had my mind. When I got released by the Cubs, I said, I'm done. There's some balls that hit to you, and in your mind, man, I got to get that ball. And I wasn't getting to him. And the Mets said, hey, we want you to come up the last month, play here as a utility player, and if things go right, maybe sign for a utility player the next year. Well, I'm looking at that roster, and I'm going, wow. And we didn't win it in '85, but then they asked me if I wanted to come back in '86. I said, no, I'm done, man. And then they win the World Series.
Did that haunt you when you were watching them?
Well,
not haunt you,
a little bit. But I knew that I don't think I could have played utility. That's a hard job, man.
Yeah.
You're sitting on the bench for a week to 10 days, and then all of a sudden, you got to go play, or you go in for double switch defense. That's a no-win situation. I admire guys that can play utility player and come off the bench and do what they do. That's a hard job.
Was Lenny on that '85 roster?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you were a teammate with Lenny?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's
you guys
crazy.
both were teammates of Lenny.
He's a different Lenny now.
Yeah, he's like 100 pounds lighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But I ask people all the time. I say, if you're going to talk to somebody about baseball, who do you think knows baseball the best? Who has the best insight into baseball? And Larry, I think most people say you. And you've had a rich history as far as playing and coaching, right? Managing, being a coach, all the different, first base, third base.
I think, Brazer, the reason for that, when you're not blessed with great ability, like Schmitty, he's a great athlete. All these guys in the Hall of Fame are great. if you're not blessed with real good ability, you got to do all the other stuff. You got to be able to move runners. You got to be able to bunt. You got to be able to hit and run. You got to be able to steal some bases. You got to be a good base runner. And so that my dad told me, hey, you're not going to be a big guy. You're not going to hit home runs. But you have to be able to execute these other things. And I think the fact that I had to do that to actually stay in the big leagues, that helped me a lot as far as getting knowledge and looking at certain things when you're watching the other team play. And if I was a big home run here and that, I probably would care less about all that other stuff.
Right.
But I had to do all that little stuff. Mickey was the same way. Mickey was a real good player, but he had to. Bull used to get on me. Oh, you missed a sign. I said, you know what, Bull? You don't have any signs. They don't hit and run with you. They don't steal with you. They don't take with you. I said, they give me all these signs. I got to be able to do that. Right. And Mickey's the same way. When manager says, hey, I expect this guy to put the ball in play. I expect him to score from first on a double. That's responsibility. And guys that don't have great ability should be able to do that. And Mickey was one of those guys that did it on our team.
And what made Larry such a good coach is that he wasn't afraid to rip you.
Right.
You're not going to see that in the big leagues anymore.
Right.
You're not going to see someone getting yelled at. But when I first got called up to the big leagues, I was a shortstop all through my career, and I moved to second base in AAA, get called up. So I've only played about 100 games at second base, which really isn't a lot when you're in the big leagues. And we're playing, I forget who we're playing, but Barry Jones is on the mound. There's a runner on first, and a guy laid down a bunt, which took me by surprise. I didn't cover first base. So I look in the dugout, and Larry is at the top step like this. And I know what's coming.
Yeah.
I know what's coming. And after the inning ends, I run in, and I'm not even past the white line yet.
Right.
He's screaming at me, and he screamed at me for about 5 or 10 minutes. But the thing is, I never not covered first base again.
Right.
So I learned from it. And I'm one of those guys that you can yell at me all you want.
Right.
I'll take it, and then I'll move on. Like I said, you're not going to see that in the
you
big
don't see
leagues
that
anymore.
now. You don't see Mickey's attitude, baseball smarts now, because guys get. I'm not saying they're soft, but they don't like to be criticized. And I look at it this way: it's constructive criticism.
Right.
It's
Right.
not.
Yeah, you're
as
trying
a coach,
to make them better.
Do you think that as a coach or a manager that you want to rip a guy knowing that he's not going to play good for you? You're trying to get him from here to here, and sometimes. If it happens, you got to confront the guy and say, "Listen, that can't happen here, and this is a big leagues." But you can't do that now because they're different. It's a different generation. I'm not going to say they're soft. It's a different generation. The game is completely different now. You can't knock over the second baseman. I mean, go look at some videos when he made double plays and when I made double play. You can't knock over the catcher.
Right.
You got to if you throw over the first twice and you don't get him, it's a balk. You put a ghost runner at second. There's so many things that are different now. The things I like about it, I like the pitch clock. I don't mind having two guys on each side of the bag. If they want to no shift, I have no problem with that. I'm really upset about you can't break up a double play. You can't knock a catcher over. If the ghost runner's so good, why don't they do it in the playoffs?
Right.
All of a sudden, we don't do it.
Right. That makes sense.
Why is that?
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
What about automatic ball strikes?
The more I watch, I don't know. Maybe it might be a good idea.
It's the last human element of this game that's left. If you take that out, there is no more human element.
I think umpires, back when we played, again, I don't want to keep mentioning that, and Mickey was part of that. Umpires usually, they'll start a game off, they're calling a pitch down. There's a good chance that pitch is going to be a strike all day. So as a hitter, you got to make those adjustments. Ball up, he's probably not calling a strike. I think umpires are like players. Yeah, they're going to make mistakes. But they're so scrutinized now with that square in front of home plate. I think if you eliminate that,
I don't like that.
People wouldn't be as harsh to the umpires as they are.
I agree.
Because if that thing is like this far offside and he calls a strike, everybody goes, "Oh, look we got screwed on that call." Umpires, they're like everybody else. They're going to make mistakes, but it sounds like that's by the wayside, I think.
For Eric Gregg's sake, I'm glad that box wasn't around in that,
my
in
gosh.
that World Series.
That was
right.
That was incredible.
Loved Eric Gregg, by the way.
A great guy.
Great guy. All right, Larry, when we come back, let's talk about the current team. You're listening to the Bull Session presented by BC WSA, live from Chickies and Pete's, the Park Casino in Bensalem, PA.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Try one of our smooth and refreshing seasonal cocktails. They are the perfect accompaniment to our scrumptious summer of shellfish entrees. There's a beach cruiser with rum and coconut, the strawberry basil mojito, Philly punch made with cherry vodka, our tequila sunrise margarita, and our non-alcoholic lemon cucumber refresher. Tasty summer cocktails to enjoy during Chicky and Pete's incredible summer of shellfish. Only at Chickies and Pete's.
At Penn Community Bank, we're in the business of building thriving communities. That means breaking down the barriers to home ownership, supporting fair, affordable access to housing from Philadelphia to the Lehigh Valley, like our Home Opportunity Mortgage that empowers eligible borrowers with no minimum credit score, no down payment, access to grant programs, and so much more. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/home for more details. Penn Community Bank. Here we grow. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Account and feature terms, restrictions, and conditions apply.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Try one of our smooth and refreshing seasonal cocktails. They are the perfect accompaniment to our scrumptious summer of shellfish entrees. There's a beach cruiser with rum and coconut, the strawberry basil mojito, Philly punch made with cherry vodka, our tequila sunrise margarita, and our non-alcoholic lemon cucumber refresher. Tasty summer cocktails to enjoy during Chicky and Pete's incredible summer of shellfish. Only at Chickies and Pete's.
At Penn Community Bank, we're in the business of building thriving communities. That means breaking down the barriers to home ownership, supporting fair, affordable access to housing from Philadelphia to the Lehigh Valley, like our Home Opportunity Mortgage that empowers eligible borrowers with no minimum credit score, no down payment, access to grant programs, and so much more. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/home for more details. Penn Community Bank. Here we grow. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Account and feature terms, restrictions, and conditions apply.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Bull Session. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and Mickey Morandini.
All right, we are back to the Bull Session presented by BCWSA live from Chickies and Pete's, the Park Casino in Bensalem, PA. I'm John Brazier, joined by my co-host Mickey Morandini. Mickey, you got a big fan right there. You had someone's 5-year-old cried when you got traded.
Wow.
And not knowing that you were coming back either.
No, that's,
right?
That's awesome.
And now she's a doctor.
Now she's a doctor. That's
I love
right.
that story.
That's
See?
great.
Maybe she can help you out if you ever.
I do have a bad elbow.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe.
Was
maybe
she an orthopedic doctor?
Right, you got to see if she's an orthopedic surgeon. Can help you with that elbow. I don't know if she still might be crying though about.
She might be.
All right, so Larry, we're here with Larry Bowa. Let's talk about the current team. Now we have the trade deadline. Not to put you on the spot, but the trade deadline coming up 6 o'clock on Thursday. Rumors everywhere. Obviously, you hear people saying we might have needs in the back of the bullpen. I think we're fine starting pitching. Maybe a right-handed bat in the outfield. So
That's what's going on right now. This is the worst time of year if you're a player, coach, if you have a uniform on, because if you obviously with social media and everything, you see stuff every night.
Right.
Guys going here, guys going there, and it's really hard for guys, especially the players, to concentrate. Especially if you're one of those guys that's on the, you keep reading your name,
right.
And everyone says, "Oh, don't read it; it's not going to happen." I think that's the hardest thing to do if you're a coach or a manager, because you hear these guys in the locker room saying, "Hey, you think it's going to be me, or what are we trying to get?" The concentration level, I think, goes away a little bit. It should be still at a high peak, because this is going to be a tight race for us between the Mets and us. But everyone knows exactly what we're going after. I mean, we're going after a reliever. We're going after a right-handed bat, preferably a right-handed bat.
And there's a lot of other teams that are looking for that same thing.
Yeah, and if you look at, there's two teams that are, it seems like they're after everything we have is Detroit and the Mets.
Mets, yeah.
And their farm system, I know in the last 3 or 4 years our farm system's really gotten better, but those two teams, their farm system is really good. So if it gets into a war between who's got better prospects to give away, right now as we speak, I'd say those two teams are, but I don't know what they have to give up or anything like that.
Well, it's interesting, too, because the Mets, obviously we are a game and a half from the Mets, and they've got some, young players that aren't performing. So I just, saw rumors that Vientos is who had 27 home runs last year.
Right.
Looked like he was going to be there, plug and play for the next 6 years. And he had some defensive deficiencies,
right.
But again, 27 home runs and a lot of pop. But now they're saying, all right, well, maybe Vientos will go. They definitely need some help in the back of the bullpen.
Right.
We do too. Now, the thing is, too, there are 17 teams that are within 5.5 games of the wild card. 17 teams.
That's a lot.
I think it was 9 in the American League, 8 in the National League. So, with the wild card, with 3 wild cards, you now have many more teams in the running. So, people right now, you're 3 days before.
Right.
And I guarantee there's teams right now that are still debating, should they be buyers, should they be sellers, should they stand pat?
No question. I mean, and you, as if you're on the other end like us, we're going to be, unless something drastic happens, we're probably going to be in the playoffs. You want those teams that are like on the bubble, but have good players, maybe to lose 4 in a row.
Right.
They lose 4 in a row now between now and Thursday night or whatever. They might say, oh, we were buyers, but now we're going to sell. So, but you're right. There's so many teams that are in it, and being 5 games out is not that big a deal right now. The only thing
Still 2 months of baseball.
The only thing is they got to really evaluate. If you got to jump over 5 teams or something, that's going to be an issue, I think.
Right. Now we're facing the White. So it's interesting. We have the White Sox tonight, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Wednesday night, I forget the name, but he's having a good year. He's got like an ERA under 3. Their starting pitcher, but he's also big time on the trading block.
Right.
So it's also an interesting time of year that you're hoping that the White Sox trade Louis Robert to somebody else and whoever that pitcher is and get their good players out so we have a better chance of
right.
Or and you're hoping the same thing. We play the Tigers this weekend. You're hoping that they don't add like some gangbuster,
exactly.
Momentum changing guy.
I heard we're in on their center fielder a little bit.
Roberts.
Yeah,
I've heard his name.
So he could just walk right into our dugout.
In fact, a lot of people
I'm
think
sure
that
it's happened a bunch of times, right?
Yeah, it has. But I think we've been on him since last year.
Yeah.
So, but I think the drawback on that, he's hurt a lot. He strikes out a lot.
Right.
He does have some big time pop, and he's a pretty good outfielder. So, I don't know, man. If they didn't get a hitter, just say we didn't get a hitter, but we answered the needs in the bullpen, I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
I really would.
And you also have, if you really want to kind of make a move that could change momentum, could change the dynamic, is, I don't know if he's ready, but you have Justin Crawford coming. He doesn't hit the ball with power, but he's led the AAA in average, and he gets on base and he steals bases. Right? So he might not hit doubles, but you know what? He gets on first, and then stolen base turns quickly into a double.
I'm telling you, this guy can play. And everywhere he goes, the first month, he's hitting 230, 240. And all scouts, I'm not saying our scouts, but I've talked to scouts in other organizations that swing's not going to play. It's played everywhere he's gone.
Right.
And the thing that bothers me a little bit is I've heard some, not all our people, but some people say he needs to hit the ball in the air more, and I disagree 100% with that.
Right.
If this guy makes a shortstop go 2 steps to his right, don't even throw it. And so he's on first with a hit. Now he steals second. Now he steals third. You put Crawford and Turner at the top of a lineup, you can create so much havoc with speed. It affects the pitcher. It affects the infielders. It affects the outfielders. People don't understand that, and they say put the ball in the air more. For what? He's going to get bigger and stronger. He does hit doubles. I've seen him hit balls out to left field now. He's a left-handed hitter.
Right.
He doesn't have 30 home run pop, but he's going to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He can run stuff down in the outfield. He's probably, in my mind, a left fielder more than a center fielder, but he can hit.
Because
I just don't think his arm is really that strong.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's a bad arm, but
right.
It's not a plus arm.
Okay. And I know you're down in spring training. You coach. You're in uniform. You're down there a lot for BP. What have you seen in Aiden Miller? Because
I love him. and everyone says, "Oh, he's hitting 230." He's 19.
He's the youngest kid in the.
He's playing
right.
Double-A ball.
Right.
He's got 25 to 30 stolen bases. He can play short. I'm sure that his name's on the top of everybody's list that wants to make a deal with that. I think you got him, you got Crawford, you got Painter, you got Abel.
Yeah.
Those are 4. There's a kid named
Taillon.
Escobar. Taillon.
Yeah.
There's a kid Escobar that got promoted from.
Escobar's related to Acuna, right?
Yeah,
I think they're
I'm gonna tell you,
cousins.
This guy can hit. He reminds me of Bill Madlock.
Right, he's a little fire plug, right?
Yeah, he is, and he just got promoted from Clearwater to Jersey Shore. We have some players down there now. Now, do we overreact or do we overmark them sometimes? Maybe, because I'm looking at some teams where they give up something. I'm going, man, I think our players are better than that. But again, I don't know what other scouts are looking at right now. But we have some people. If you wanted to put something together, you probably could. But I like the article John Middleton. He was quoted as saying, I don't want this team just to be good this year. He says,
right.
Man, if we get rid of all these prospects, I want this team to be as good right now 5 years from now. I don't want the stadium to be empty because we got rid of everybody. So, and right now we're paying a lot on this luxury tax. It's off the charts.
I know.
So I don't know what they're going to do now. I think they're going to do something, but I couldn't tell you what.
Well, plus we have some big decisions coming up for next year.
Well, we got 3.
Ranger Suarez, you got JT. Now, what would you do? Just let's not get you in any trouble, but if you're the GM, right?
I'm the first guy I'm signing is Schwarber.
Schwarber, yeah.
He means so much to our team, in the clubhouse, off the field, on the field. He could have played 20 years back. He could play 20 years forward. He's a baseball player.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like an Ortiz, where he just stays good through his late 30s. Keeps himself in shape.
He's not getting a hometown discount. There's only one other player who's got more home runs the last 3 years.
Right.
That's Judge. So he's had 3 real good years.
Yep.
And you're going to have to come out. You're going to have to come up with some money.
Right.
And JT, we know he's come on really good.
And we don't really have somebody that's close.
Not catcher-wise.
Like if we had Logan Hoppe, obviously he'd be ready.
But you're also going to see a lot of teams that want to go after him. So.
Right.
And then Ranger, who's pitched lights out.
Yep.
So just guessing. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm just guessing now. If we sign 2 of those 3s, I'd be really happy. But I think we might only do 1 of these 3.
Yeah.
And again, those are decisions for John Middleton and Dave Dombrowski.
Well, personally, I hope we sign just at least one more piece.
Yeah.
I know we got Robertson in the back of the bullpen, but it'd be nice to have someone who's a little more established
I agree.
back there, because you're not going to be able to count on Wrangler or Seth Johnson or some of the guys. But if you can get someone like a Bednar or somebody, that Helsley or somebody, it'd be really nice to kind of have some other guys besides Kirkring and besides Strom and besides,
But the other thing, Braze, people don't understand. You're probably going to need 3 starters. So you got a guy like Luzardo.
Yep.
In my opinion, he goes down there and comes out of that bullpen for 1 inning.
Yep.
That's pretty good because he throws 97, 98.
Or Nick Abel.
Nick Abel, same thing.
Yep.
And you might have one of those left-handers. We got, what do we have, 2 or 3 of them? One of them's going to go down there.
Yeah.
You're only going to need 3 starters.
Not Sanchez. Sanchez is
Sanchez.
We're forgetting about Aaron Nola, too. If he comes back
Right.
and he's healthy and he's pitching good and he has a good track record in the playoffs, we got 2 starters that could go in the bullpen.
And Nola's, this might be a blessing in disguise, him not pitching for this long.
Right.
Because he's pitched he hasn't missed any starts. Mm-hmm. He gives you innings every year. This is the first time he's been on the IL. And I really believe that this rest, even though he doesn't like it, it might come back and be very beneficial for us.
And he's doing a rehab start, I think, this week,
This
right?
week, I think.
Thursday,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Probably
probably
like 2 or 3.
I think he needs at least 3.
3.
Yeah.
And then Painter's also in the wings. We don't,
Right.
obviously he's struggling a little bit.
People always, you hear these talk shows that bring him back and put him in the bullpen. When a guy has Tommy John, that's the last thing you do. He's not going to go to the bullpen.
Right.
In fact, I think it takes 18 months. If you see Alcantara he's been getting hit around. This guy's a good pitcher.
But he's starting to
get it,
up,
but it's going to be close to 15 or 16 months.
And it's not easy to be a starter your whole. I
know
he's only 23 or whatever, and then all of a sudden I got to come in and pitch an inning.
I don't see that happening.
Especially for a young kid.
All right, let's go to break. When we come back, we'll continue to talk with the current Phillies with our guest, Larry Bowa. You're listening to the Bull Session presented by BC WSA from Chickies and Pete's in the Parks Casino in Ben Salem, PA.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Come and enjoy one of your seasonal favorites from our new Summer of Shellfish menu, including our flavorful garlic and herb, roasted shrimp and lobster, tasty crabby tuna and poke tacos, or our incredible seafood boil featuring crab legs, scrumptious shrimp, clams, mussels, and more. And try one of our delicious seasonal cocktails with your meal. The Summer of Shellfish, only at Chickies and Pete's.
Think banking hasn't changed? Think again. At Penn Community Bank, we've been helping communities thrive for 150 years. From our nationally recognized Access Checking that offers the peace of mind of no overdrafts, to student and free checking plus options with perks that will make you wonder what you did without them. Like early direct deposit, overdraft grace, and Zelle. Learn more at PennCommunityBank.com/products. Penn Community Bank. Here we grow. Account and feature terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. Ask for full details. Member FDIC.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Come and enjoy one of your seasonal favorites from our new Summer of Shellfish menu, including our flavorful garlic and herb, roasted shrimp and lobster, tasty crabby tuna and poke tacos, or our incredible seafood boil featuring crab legs, scrumptious shrimp, clams, mussels, and more. And try one of our delicious seasonal cocktails with your meal. The Summer of Shellfish, only at Chickies and Pete's.
Think banking hasn't changed? Think again. At Penn Community Bank, we've been helping communities thrive for 150 years. From our nationally recognized Access Checking that offers the peace of mind of no overdrafts, to student and free checking plus options with perks that will make you wonder what you did without them. Like early direct deposit, overdraft grace, and Zelle. Learn more at PennCommunityBank.com/products. Penn Community Bank. Here we grow. Account and feature terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. Ask for full details. Member FDIC.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Bull Session. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and Mickey Morandini.
All right, we are back to the Bull Session, presented by BCWSA, live from Chickies and Pete's at the Bar Casino in Ben Salem, PA. I'm John Brazer, joined by my co-host Mickey Morandini and our guest Larry Bowa. Now, this weekend, in 4 days, Friday, we are going to have Jimmy Rollins, and I bet you Jimmy going to the Wall of Fame along with Ed Wade.
Right.
Now you've got a special relationship with both those guys. Starting with Jimmy. With Jimmy, he was kind of your mentee, right? Or you were the mentor.
Yep.
There's a shortstop now. You guys have a great relationship, right? I mean, you're different people, right? But a great relationship.
A little bit.
In
They're a little different.
Well,
in my opinion, Jimmy is definitely. I'm shocked at some of the votes he's getting for that. He should be definitely in the Hall of Fame. There's no doubt in my mind. And Eddie Wade did a great job while he was here. Then he went to Houston and did a great job. I'm glad he's starting to get the recognition he deserves, because a lot of people think that's an easy job and everything. But Eddie, everywhere he went, he did a great job.
Now, is that fun for you, being in the Wall of Fame every year, and you get to see Lefty comes in, you get to see your teammates, then you get to see other guys that you coached. I mean, again, you've been in baseball so long that you have a touch point with almost every guy that's
I
there.
know. It's sort of scary now, because I've been reading the paper lately, and all these guys I played with, everything are passed away, and I'm going, wow. I got to pinch myself and make sure I'm still.
You're in
still
great
alive.
shape.
But
I boxed with Larry before Mick.
But I will tell you this again. I keep going back to John Middleton. They put on an unbelievable show for the alumni.
Yep.
And John's one of those guys that he always tells guys, if you played here, you're welcome to come back anytime you want. And there's not a lot of owners that do that. But when he puts on a gig, it's top of the line everywhere he goes.
Now, I mentioned Lefty. No, he comes in once a year. I love it. He has his spot at the bar.
Yeah, and has his little red wine.
His little red wine. He hangs there pretty much, the whole time. It's one of my favorite. Video Dan always comes in, talks to him, and I like to go in there and just listen, just because it's. What was that like playing with Lefty? Because obviously, he was my favorite player as a kid, and he was very idiosyncratic. He used to have the big word there.
Word.
With the race with Gus Heffling.
Gus Heffling,
do the whole deal.
He's strong.
Did you have interactions with Steve? Like a lot of interactions?
Great. Steve, again, the media portrays him as being a jerk.
I love Steve Carl.
He was great in our clubhouse.
Yeah.
I will say this, on the day he pitched, don't talk to him.
Just
leave him alone. And he's good after the day he pitches. It's when you have a guy like him, and I'm going to go with Wheeler, you have a good chance of winning baseball games.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to score a lot of runs. I know Wheels, his last outing against the Yankees wasn't one of his best, but he still kept you in the game. But those guys, when they take the mound, I mean, then one year, what did Lefty win? 27 games?
Right.
I don't know what he won, 58?
Right. He had like 48%.
That's impossible to do.
Yeah.
But we knew coming in, because in the early 70s, we weren't a good team. I mean, we didn't hit, I should say. We were all right defensively. But we knew going in, if we got 2 runs, we had a chance to win. Right. Whereas the rest of the staff, we had to get 5 runs, maybe 6 runs, and we just weren't capable of doing that at that early stages of our career. But with Lefty, and all he would do every time he came through those doors when he pitched, today's win day, boys.
Right.
And everyone's
then he didn't talk to him.
We better win.
Yeah.
What did he say to you when you'd come in and try and talk to him when he was on the mound?
The first time, he said he's rubbing the ball, and I'm going. He threw a couple of balls, and I was going to calm him down. He goes, "Hope, you worry about short. I got this." I said, "You got it, Lefty. You got it."
All right, a couple quick questions. Ready? How about who is the best pitcher that you had his number? In other words, like who was like a superstar pitcher that you just saw the ball well, that you felt like you were comfortable in the box?
Even though the numbers in the minor leagues weren't good, I mean, I'm not saying I killed him, but I got my hits off of Seaver and then Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
The meanest pitcher, it's not even close, Bob Gibson.
Right. That was the most
not
intimidating.
Not only was he mean, he was great.
Right.
And that people, when these kids now talk to me about guys that I face in that, I said, you know what? These guys do throw hard, but I've never faced a pitcher when I played. We threw one up and in, and he goes, my bad. That didn't happen when we played. I mean, these guys, they throw one up and in, they take 3 steps and say, oh, you didn't like that? Well, how about this one? But that's the mentality of those great pitchers is completely different now. It just...
You know what I would love to see? When you come into the Diamond Club entrance and you see the big painting, and it's all you guys, all the legends kind of hanging out together as if all the generations.
Right.
And you were there with Jimmy Rollins, right, in the painting. I would love to somehow see if you can put AI, maybe can do it, and have Bob Gibson pitching and have Juan Soto digging his left foot into the box and with his bat swag. Like, I want to see that.
Braves, that would never have happened. That would never have happened. It might have happened once, and that would have been the last time. They didn't put up with that.
So what pitchers did you face that you would never bunt on?
Gibson was one. Nolan was one. Nolan didn't want anybody bunt. And he said his favorite line was, if you're going to bunt, it better be fair. And I tried it once, and I fouled it off. And the next one, it wasn't in my head, but it was like here.
Right.
I said, you know what, let me try to hit it. little flare to left field and get on base here. But those guys, it was their mentality that was completely different.
Yeah. Larry, I can't thank you enough for coming out. Great. This is actually the biggest crowd we've had with fans coming up, so it's a tribute to you. And have fun this weekend for Alumni Weekend.
We got to win these games, and we need another parade down Broad Street.
There you go. You heard it right there. All right, I'd like to thank my co-host, Mickey Morandini, our guest today, Larry Bowa, his wife, Patty Bowa. Can't forget Patty. On-site engineer, Chris Ermer. Thanks also to Pete Soroki and the great staff here at Chickies and Pete's at Park Casino for hosting us today. And Gus Barber back in the studio. We're going to be back next Monday at 12 at Chickies and Pete's in South Philadelphia. It's going to be on Tuesday at 12 because we are moving it. Monday we have our alumni golf outing, but Tuesday we're going to have the Bull as our guest, the show's named after him. So until then, have a great week. And as the late, great Harry the K says, we are out of here.
Phillies baseball on 1490 WBCB and 107.3.